Which Side Podcast is a proud member of the Which Side Media Collective.
Fuck you. You fucking assholes.
Why are they fucking assholes?
You think that you can just get handouts from us? You think that we can just give you shit for free and you don't help us?
You are very bitter today. But is this because we don't have a sponsor this week?
Oh, no. That's just how I feel generally.
But we don't have a sponsor this week.
Oh.
We really do need sponsors. I really don't feel like saying fuck you to everyone who can't sponsor. But if you can afford it and you want to shout something out, we'll do it. So if you have a organization, if you have an event going on,
You have a band?
you have a band, anything. Like pretty much you can just be like, I have an Instagram, follow me. We'd be like, go follow this guy on Instagram or girl or whatever. You know, we don't care. We will say it as long as it's vegan because we love you guys. So show us some love back and sponsor an episode. It's only $10. WhичSidePodcast.com. This is episode 93.
Yeah, we had Joshua Labure on from Nooch Market.
Yeah, it's a vegan market in the Denver area. I haven't been yet, only because I haven't been to Denver. But we might be going to Denver in October, and I will definitely be stopping by.
And I'll be going next month.
Oh, yeah, you are, huh? Yeah.
So I will definitely stop by as well.
So if you're in the Denver area, if you live there, or if you're visiting by, make sure to stop out the Nooch Vegan Market and tell Josh you heard him on Which Side. What news and events do we have going on, Jordan?
So, as you might have heard in the news lately, Ferguson recently has come under a lot of pressure because of a police officer shooting Michael Brown, who was an unarmed teen.
But this is not like a lone incident. Yeah.
This is something that happens all the time. In fact, here locally in Salt Lake, recently an unarmed person was shot at a 7-Eleven for wearing headphones and not responding to an officer.
There was another recent one with a kid in a store, right?
Yeah, I think there was
a toy gun.
Yeah, there was a kid in Walmart who picked up a toy gun and was shot for having a toy gun, even though he proclaimed to the officers that it was a toy, and he got it off of the shelf where it was being displayed.
This shit just should not happen. The militarization of our police is... I mean, fuck the police in general, like being an anarchist, but the militarization is just beyond comprehension. Like it's so far out of fucking control.
Yeah, I just don't get it. I mean, cops shooting everyone, it's out of control.
I know in a lot of places there's organizations that are out there and they're putting people on the street and they're raising awareness to this issue. So find one in your area. If you can't find one in your area, fucking start it. And if you do start it, or if you know of something going on in your area, send it to us. We will blast the shit out of it for you. We will try to get people out there. This is horseshit and it needs to stop.
And we need to demand that information gets released from these individuals. They hide the information because they're trying to protect themselves. A fucking uniform does not give a person authority, in my opinion.
No, it shouldn't. Not at all. You should not live in fear of that institution. So, let's band together, get something going. Let us know. We'll do what we can for you. August 24th, 1909. There was a battle between the police and a bunch of IWW strikers at McKees Rock in Pennsylvania. 11 IWW people were killed.
Wow.
Yeah. These are people that were, out there fighting for our rights. These are our grandfathers, our grandmothers that were out there on the front lines fighting, and it always, whenever I read about these things, it always makes me feel like, why the fuck do workers nowadays not look at the sacrifices that our ancestors made for us and continue pushing it forward?
If you're working today and all of your rights come from these things, your 8-hour work.
In the U.S. especially, yeah. The 8-hour workday, paid time off, holiday pay, vacation pay, overtime pay. All of these things were hard won and fought. by these brave men and women.
I mean, you really need to look into it. Support your local IWW.
Yeah, support your workers in general. Support your local workers in whatever you can do. If you see a fucking strike going on, go up and have a conversation with them. Let them know. I
always do.
I do too. Like, let them know, hey, it's great that you're out here. I fully support you guys. And, it doesn't go unnoticed.
I tend to do that with any protest that I see. I will approach someone before making a decision. There have been people I've disagreed with.
Yeah, that's happened too. But, hey, I'm all about people standing up and, voicing a wrong they feel.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, I sincerely hope you guys enjoy this episode. There's a little bit of Skype static right at the beginning for about 1 minute. We sincerely apologize.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Which side? Which side are you on? 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 Which side are you on?
What you been up to for the day?
Just at the shop, just hanging out.
So are you working right now?
Well, kinda. I'm in the back room. Yeah.
Sorry to take you away.
Oh, no, you're fine.
So, since you're actually there working, how the hell does something like this start?
Well, I actually was working, at a large natural food chain for 5 years. And during that time, I went vegan, and I kind of just got sick of selling meat. Like, shortly after going vegan, I was just like, I don't want to participate in this anymore. And I was just kind of like interested in seeing if there was like a vegan version of a grocery store. And then I found Food Fight and a couple other things, and that kind of inspired me to actually like move forward with it. And that was about a year after I went vegan, whenever I did all that research and stuff. And it took me a few years after that before I actually I had a business plan started and an idea and all this stuff, but it really came together when I met my friend Vanessa. We met doing some like animal rights stuff around Denver and tabling at some shows and stuff, and we became friends, and we're like, I was telling her about the idea. I was going to open up a little pop-up shop, and she was like, hey, well, let me help you out. And then it ended up just kind of growing from there, and decided to actually like open up a shop. So
did you guys need to get like outside funding?
Mostly we got it funded by Vanessa's family.
Oh, okay.
And she had she had some money in savings and stuff like that. And then we did a Kickstarter though, because we couldn't afford to buy a freezer. So we did a Kickstarter to buy a freezer so we could have some like frozen pizzas and stuff like that. So that was the only like crowdfunding that we did or anything. But for the most part, it was mostly like from Vanessa's family.
So do you guys ever get mistaken for a dispensary?
No.
Just
we don't.
The name, yeah.
Oh, I know. Somebody told me they wanted to open up a dispensary next to us and call it Snooch to the.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, I was like, do it.
I might have to come up there and figure out how to open a dispensary just to be next to you. Then I can get my grocery shopping done. So, and I'm straight edge, so I wouldn't even use my product, which would be great.
I know, right?
Because it wouldn't cut into the margins.
I know. And I wouldn't either. It'd just be all outside people. So,
so what's your vegan origin story? So you said you went vegan like a year before you had the idea, but what led to you becoming vegan?
For me, it kind of started just like learning about the natural foods industry, and just kind of like, it kind of started from like reading Fast Food Nation, and then I was working at Whole Foods and stuff, and just kind of like getting interested in like where our food is coming from. But it never really like made me think about going vegetarian or anything until, I I don't know, just having a conversation with my friend one day, and I was exploring some like different political ideas and probably getting a little bit more radical in my politics, and I was just like discussing the idea of property and how strange it was to me, and then I was talking to my friend, and he was vegan, and he wasn't even talking about vegan stuff, and then but then I was just like, it's so weird to think that somebody like grabs an animal and is like, this is my property, and now I'm going to cut it up and sell it in pieces. And I was just like, as soon as I said that, I was like really uncomfortable with the idea. And for me, I was just like, I pretty much went vegetarian the next day. And then after like researching how to be vegan and how to be a vegetarian in a healthy way, I came across all the info about the dairy industry and stuff like that, and was really uncomfortable with that. So I went vegan like about a month and a half or so after I went vegetarian. So yeah, and then from then it was just like an idea of like, I just don't like the idea of animals being treated as property whenever I think that there's so much more than that.
So you said that you were reading books that were changing your politics a little bit. What kind of stuff were you reading?
Well, I guess it was like just exploring like, well, there was like Fast Food Nation, and then shortly after that, I was reading I was reading an Amy Goodman book at the time, and then I was reading another one about environmentalism that like, I can't remember the names of any of those books for some reason. Oh, the Amy Goodman one was Static. And then I read like the Communist Manifesto, and then I was reading like, I don't know, just kind of exploring like my politics in general, I guess, because it was something I never really thought about too hard.
With the property one, I was thinking more of like Proton, where like property is theft. Is that Proton?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's a misquote, though. Let's be honest. He also follows it up with property is liberty.
Oh yeah.
So I mean,
yeah.
So,
I don't even know that one. I should probably look into that.
So what would like your politics? You said you're reading the Communist Manifesto. Like how do you align yourself politically?
I don't know. I kind of probably along the lines of like the New Left or maybe like kind of the Noam Chomsky view of anarchism a little bit. Like maybe like anarcho-socialist. I don't know. I'm still kind of like exploring that, just kind of like which ideas I think are the best. But I usually align more with like kind of the New Left idea.
I've heard the term people say New Left, but I've never really know what they mean by that.
Yeah. I think it's like the general idea is kind of, it's basically like anarchism, I guess, but okay. I guess it's just, yeah. So
one thing about Chomsky that's always weirded me out is that everyone refers to him as an anarchist. I refer to him as an anarchist, but he never says he's an anarchist. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. It's interesting. That's why I don't really know if I have like necessarily a label, but I definitely I definitely am against the ideas of oppression and hierarchies and things like that. It's just kind of, I guess I'm just exploring like what I think is the best way to get to that level.
So do you find that being in conflict with running a business?
Sometimes I really do. And, but I guess like for me, I guess in a way, starting a business like helped me a little bit, like be able to practice my ideology a little more. Mm-hmm. And I feel like though I am an anti-capitalist, that I think that in a way it's kind of helped me like step away from that a little bit. And I don't really like to I don't know, I guess as long as I'm sticking with my ideals and I'm treating people well and we're trying to source things that are not from like huge companies that we hate and we try to avoid things from Coca-Cola or Pepsi or Monsanto or ConAgra. And a lot of the natural foods companies are owned by those companies. So we try to avoid all those. So we don't have things like Boca and we don't have things like Morningstar and stuff. And just because of the companies that they're owned by. So, there are definitely some conflicts, but it's interesting to kind of like, try to practice your views like while running a store. So yeah, I don't know.
What's like the hardest aspect for you? Like with, like you feel conflicted with like your views, but then you also are stuck in an economy that makes you run in a certain way.
Exactly. I guess like, how much like we pay ourselves and the few people that work for us, that's a big concept. Like I would like to be able to like really like run it more cooperatively and stuff like that, but we haven't figured out a way to do that because we're barely like, I mean, we're paying our bills, but we're not making much beyond that. So.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting. It's a fun experiment. And I'm interested to see how it grows and like we get to certain points and to be able to do more things that we want to do. And also I kind of like, I don't like advertising very much. Like I'm not a huge fan of it. Like we basically just have our Instagram and stuff like that. But we get hit up for like advertising stuff all the time. And sometimes you're kind of like, man, should we do this? And then like, should we be sending out like mass texts and stuff like that? And then I'm like, I don't know. So it's fun. So that's funny to like have those conflicts arise all the time. So
we feel the same way doing this. Like we have a horrible time self-advertising because we fucking hate it.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
But at the same time, we're like, we don't make any money doing this.
Oh, of course. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. It's like we have a store and stuff and we sell stuff, but for the most part, we're not like making huge profits or anything. So it's kind of like, we're kind of just, what I always tell people is like, if I really wanted to make money, I wouldn't have opened a vegan shop. You know what I mean? Because the vegan, like, there's a lot of vegans now, and I feel like a lot of people support us, and I love the community around it, and that's why we do it. But, like most people that aren't vegan are usually pretty like, oh, I don't want to go in there because there's nothing for me in there.
Yeah.
And it's at the high end, we're what, like 2% of the population?
Yeah, about that.
Yeah, exactly. Like, huge. Yeah. So we're really like catering to like, what, 2% of people. And I feel like pretty good about the fact that we're doing it because we want to like, we just want to like, help animals as much as we can, I guess. And like I think making veganism more accessible is like really important for our movement. And we do actually get a lot of people that aren't vegan that come in here. And we get to talk to those people all the time, and we get questions about it all the time, and we don't like hold back our views or anything, and people are like pretty receptive to hearing about it, so it's pretty cool.
I definitely think it's like a super awesome idea, because how cool is it in my mind to just walk into a store and just know that everything is okay for me to eat without having to look at ingredients?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's kind of why we did it. The first time I went into Food Fight, I was just like, I didn't actually like believe it at first. I was just kind of like, man, I'm still reading all these ingredients and stuff.
I'm the same way. I would still read everything.
Yeah.
Oh, totally. Yeah, but now I'm friends with them and we have our shop, and now I'm a lot more like, okay, whatever. Like now it's really nice because I just go in and like, I mean, we still get people come in like, oh, are these vegan? And I'm like, yeah, everything's vegan.
Do you ever get people like questioning weird things like, well, this ingredient could be sourced from this way, or...
like we get that with like sugar and stuff, but we double check all that anyway. So we'll actually call the companies and like make sure they're not using bone char sugar. And the cool thing is like if it's certified vegan from vegan.org or whatever, that's pretty cool because they do the research for us. So we find a lot of that stuff. And but it's I mean, a lot of the companies will call or like and just make sure like, there's certain things that are like pretty much vegan, but then like the sugar won't be, and then we won't carry that stuff just because we want to be as vegan as possible. So
do you let those companies know? Like,
oh yeah, totally. We have one company right now that's looking into changing their sugar, so because they didn't know, they didn't know until we asked them about it, and then they asked their supplier, and they were like, oh yeah, and they were like, oh, they were really shocked. So so they actually they actually are looking into changing their sugar now, so it's pretty cool.
That's way awesome.
That is way awesome.
Yeah, and we're just like a little store too, so it's kind of funny that like they would even listen to us. So I was kind of excited about that because they're a little bit of they're not a huge company, but they're like big enough that they're in like most Whole Foods and most Vitamin Cottages and stuff like that. Yeah. So yeah,
I'm really interested in the supply chain aspect of things like that because that's actually what I'm getting my master's in right now. So
in the what?
I'm getting my master's in ethical supply chain management.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I'm always, it's just where my mind goes. But
Yeah.
like, how viable do you think vegan markets are in most major areas?
I mean, honestly, like, I think that it's more viable than people think. Like, we've gotten so much support that it's like, we were kind of like shocked at first because, like, I don't know, we just like went in from being in a smaller shop to like, we just like doubled in size and got to move to the neighborhood we originally wanted to be in. And, you know, and like, we're growing. And I mean, obviously, like, running a small business is like hard and kind of scary, but like, I don't know. I just like, I think the support that we get and like other vegan shops get, it's like, it just feels like so much like a community that I think that like it could work in like almost every major city. So yeah.
Let me throw this one out to you. This is an idea that we've talked about quite a bit that I really want to work on and pull forward. But would a company like yours be interested in this is what I'm wanting to know. We want to set up a completely anarchist bank where you know that none of the funds are going to fund anything that is exploitive, that it's completely centrally run, you know, just you know what your money is going to. But it would probably have higher fees because, you know, they usually make money by lending out and everything else. Would that be something you think would be viable?
I would hope so. I mean, it sounds like a rad idea. I mean, I have no idea, you know, like, I don't even know. But I think that would be like pretty amazing. That would be an amazing experiment, and I would definitely support it.
You're making me think about it.
No, totally. I mean, I think we need to find alternatives, you know, to how things are run now, you know, and like, and it's just interesting. I think we're all have the ability to do that and explore alternatives, and I don't know. That's interesting.
So I'm going to be visiting Denver in probably less than a month now. What are some great like vegan places in the area?
Well, there's City, which is a vegetarian restaurant, and then there's Watercourse. They're owned by the same guy, but actually Watercourse just went all vegan. And they're both really great. I love both of those restaurants. Some of my favorite meals in town, there's a vegetarian Indian restaurant called Masala, like right outside of Denver. That's like one of my favorite places. They have the best dosas, and like, you know, it's pretty cool because they label everything that can be made vegan and stuff like that. So there's a ramen bar that I really like called Uncle. There's a couple native foods here now, which we have 2 native foods now. It's crazy. And then I don't know, there's a bunch of places with options too. We're actually right across the street from a restaurant called Sputnik.
Oh, I've been there.
Yeah, so we're basically like right across the street from them, so I visit there quite often.
Is there another like a pho place too? Like what the pho?
There's a bunch of pho places that have vegan pho. So my favorite is called Fanatic.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know, it just has this like really delicious like salty broth with like this, it has these like crunchy like fried onion things in it, and then like all the pho ingredients. It's so good. That's like and it's pretty cool because like I called them, you know, because I knew they had a tofu pho, but I didn't say if it was vegetarian or anything. And I just called them. I was like, hey, so can you guys do the tofu pho with vegetable broth? And they're like, oh yeah, it's totally vegan. And I was like, okay, cool. So then I was sold. I went.
Yeah. The place I always go, they use a mushroom broth instead. It's pretty good.
Do you know which place that is? Or is it?
It's in Utah. Yeah.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I haven't been to Salt Lake in a while. Good food over there, though, too.
We do all right.
Yeah.
So I'll have to check out the Indian one. I've been to Watercourse and City for sure, and Sputnik, but I haven't been to. I think I've even been to Fanatic, but I haven't been to the Indian one.
Yeah, it's good. Oh, we have a Voodoo Donuts now too, so you can get some donuts.
I will get some donuts.
You got to get one of those fritters because they're so good.
I love it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's always inevitable that vegans talk about food.
Oh yeah, totally. I could talk about restaurants all around the country that I like. So.
So, what is the craziest fucking vegan thing you carry?
The craziest thing?
Yeah, you hear about like fish gullets and weird shit all the time.
Swallow balls.
Yeah, swallow balls.
Yeah, I haven't heard of that.
Yeah,
The
it's weird.
I mean, we have the vegan magic bacon grease, which a lot of people are into, which I'm really into as well.
I've heard about it, but
Yeah.
I've never used it.
It's delicious. It's basically just coconut oil, but they like enhance it with like putting like little vegan bacon bits in it and like liquid smoke and like all this flavor. So like if you cook greens in that, it's amazing. I love it. Yeah, we just got in these. I don't know. We have so much jerky. Then we have that canned tuna now. There's like a canned tuna.
Is that any good for real?
I was never into canned tuna, so I don't know if I'm the best judge, but I personally wasn't that into it. But one of the people that works here was like ate the whole can with crackers like as soon as we got it in and was like, "This is amazing." So I don't know.
I never ate tuna before I was vegan because I smelled it and was like, that just smells like disgusting.
Yeah.
So I've never tried vegan tuna for the same reason.
I did all the time,
it's
and
basically,
sorry, I was going to say I had Tuno as well when they had that brand, like 10 or more years ago.
Yeah.
I don't know what brand is that. The vegan.
The new one is Sophie's Kitchen. So they do like the fish fillets, and we have a smoked salmon from them, and like we have like vegan shrimp from them, and I don't know, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I like their vegan shrimp.
Yeah, we just got this new distributor. They're called Vegan I think they're just called Vegan Distribution. But they carry a lot of the like Asian fake meats and stuff like that. So we just got these drumsticks from them.
Is that like like the Veggie One brand stuff?
I'm forgetting the name of this brand off the top of my head. I would have to like run over and go look at it. But it's not the big brand. I think this one's just called like Vegetarian Products or something like that. It's like not an exciting name at all.
There's a couple really good of those, Asian ones. They're really good.
Yeah. So these are really good. They have like the little like sugarcane bone in them and stuff.
Nice.
Yes, I know which ones you're talking about. They are very good.
They make really good chicken wings. Or like their buffalo wings.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I totally agree because I did that with those and they were delicious.
So being like more of an ethical vegan, like how do you find it being, combating the health issues? Because I mean, mock everything is not the best for your system.
Yeah, totally. No, I agree with that. I'm just like totally like one of those in moderation people. I mean, like for the most part, I kind of like, for my own personal way I eat is I try to like, at least for like breakfast and stuff like that, or like when I work, I try to eat as much greens as I can and like, but I think like usually for dinner I eat whatever I want. So I don't know. I was never like, I never went vegan for the health reason or anything like that. Like before I was vegan, I was straight up like fast food every day. I grew up in Texas. I was like a meat and potatoes kind of person. So when I went vegan, like I feel like I eat a lot more diversity now, but I definitely am into kind of the vegan junk food, I guess.
So what got you to move from Texas to Denver?
Well, actually, my family moved here when I was young. So when I was like I think I was 14. Yeah, I was 14 when I moved here. And so.
How did they take to you being vegan and then now, being a staple of the community there?
Yeah. I don't know. My mom moved back to Texas like years ago and and she's in a relationship. Like my parent, I guess like getting really personal, my dad passed away when I was like 18.
Mm-hmm.
And then my mom moved back to Texas and like, and then she kind of came out to me like 3 or 4 years ago, and she's in a relationship with this woman, Holly, now, and who's amazing, who I love so much. And they're really supportive of it. They don't have any like, they were never like the kind of people that were like questioning why I was doing it or anything. They were just kind of like, oh, that's cool. But at the same time, like, I don't know. It's like interesting because like we don't even like talk about it that much when we're hanging out. So, but they finally came to the store for the first time, like while we were open, because we don't get to visit much because like we're all so busy. My mom's partner, she's like part owner of this bar in Texas, which is kind of like, I don't know. And so they were just really busy and have to work all the time. And I'm always at work. So they finally got to come up this summer and see the store and everything. And I think they were like pretty impressed, which was kind of cool. So, but they've always been very supportive. So
How was it growing up in Texas?
I don't know. I don't think I really thought about it when I was younger, you know? It was just kind of normal for me, you know? I don't know, just going out riding bikes all day and riding go-karts and I don't know, I used to race BMX, so that was my weekends, was being at the BMX track and just eating lots of barbecue and stuff like that. So I don't know.
Yeah, I remember it being super tough finding anything vegan outside of Austin and Texas.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, when I go back and visit, it's rough. But I usually just go to the grocery store and grab some stuff and just cook food before we all go out or anything.
Yeah.
Fortunately, like a lot of Texas visiting isn't really going places. It's kind of like people coming over to the house and visiting, like family members and stuff. So I'll just make, you know, my veggie burger or whatever, hang out with my family and talk on the porch and stuff. So it's pretty laid back. But yeah, I don't know. There's more stuff happening in like Houston and Dallas and Fort Worth now too. So I've had some good vegan food in all of those cities now. So
That's awesome.
How's the animal rights scene right now in Denver?
You know, like as far as like activism and stuff goes, like it's not huge, to be quite honest. But it does seem to be like more people are moving here and getting involved and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. We just had I know there was just a protest at DIA, and there was a good amount of people that went. So unfortunately, I couldn't go because I was.
What's DIA?
International Airport.
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
Yeah,
the airport, right?
Yeah, there was a protest against Delta.
Oh, that's the
Bunny
Bunnies
Alliance.
campaigns, right?
Bunny Alliance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Money
Yeah.
Alliance. Those
Okay.
folks. Yeah, so it's pretty cool. It seems like it's catching on a little bit. So hopefully more. I mean, there's like fur protests like every Saturday, but you know they've been organized by the same people for a long time and stuff like that, and it's cool because it seems like some more younger people are moving to Denver and kind of starting some things. So which is nice.
You know, we talk to people all over the country, and we're hearing a lot more that it's dying down a lot more, but everyone's really hopeful.
Yeah, I think that's kind of where I am.
I'm just wondering, like, what is it going to take to get it back to, you know, where you're hearing stories of, you know, successful campaigns on a weekly basis and, you know, wins all the time and things that other, you know, like cities are doing, and it just doesn't seem like you hear much of it anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's going to take some really like strong organizing and some people that really are dedicated to doing that, and hopefully just like some good solid campaigns that seem winnable, I guess. I don't know. I don't really know what it's going to take. I just really hope that it picks up
So
like everywhere.
So what would be like a winnable campaign to you?
You know, I don't know. Like I'm nothing in my head right now. I mean, this Delta campaign seems like it's winnable, you know,
Mhm.
like getting Delta to like we have one airline, you know, that's like flying primates, you know what I mean? And like if we can like get that stopped, you know, I think that'll give everybody like hopefully a little hope. So I'm really impressed with like the Bunny Alliance for really like, you know, like going ahead with that and like doing the tours and like getting people in other cities involved. And I think that that's like a really like, I have a lot of hope in that campaign, you know, and like people getting excited about it. Like, you know, we have a bunch of literature about it at the store and people are picking it up and like, you know, reading about it and like, oh, I'm never going to fly Delta again and stuff like that. So I'm really hoping that like people are like, you know, it's kind of like a spark right now that's happening. So
Yeah, it reminds me of HLS in like 2001.
yeah,
you know,
exactly. I think getting a lot of people focused on like one thing like that is really hopefully going to spark multiple people doing multiple things.
Outside of like major cities, there's also the SeaWorld campaign.
Yeah,
That's in.
Yeah, see, that's been huge.
It's actually affected them so much that their sales have gone down, and now they're going to expand the orca cages. Not that that's justification for anything.
well, and then Bush has said they're going to divest of them completely.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I mean, that's like, you know, I think that film, you know, like really inspired a lot of people. And I think that might take that too. There's that film Cowspiracy going around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Have you got a chance to see that yet?
Yeah.
Jordan has. I haven't seen it yet.
It was super awesome.
I mean, Yeah, it was great. I went to the Denver screening last month, and I was like blown away by it, and kind of I would really like to see a campaign, and like I don't know if maybe I'm the person who needs to start it or something. I don't know. I'd like to see a campaign kind of like encouraging those environmental groups to start talking about it.
I did notice that Rainforest Action Network posted something the other day, and they got a lot of shit for it about how much water is used.
Yeah, they did get a lot of. Yeah, I saw that.
I didn't see that. Tell me about it.
Yeah, so they just posted like he was saying, like basically it was just a picture or something that said how many gallons of water are used to like produce beef and like all this stuff, and like how we should all move to a more plant-based diet and how that would like really help kind of the environment, I guess. And a lot of the comments I read were pretty positive and like people thanking them, but there were a good chunk of like really negative comments, like people.
Is it like disputing the facts, or is it just like fuck you and your bullshit?
It was mostly just like fuck you, like don't tell me how to eat and stuff like that is what I saw.
I saw a lot of people who were trying to flip the situation, being like, well, fracking uses more water, and while fracking does use a ton of water, it uses like, I want to say like 2 or 3 billion a year.
Industry wide, there's no way it uses more.
Yeah, it's in the trillions for animal agriculture. So.
Yeah, I saw this Beef magazine. I saw this article they did about Cowspiracy.
I think I saw the same one.
Yeah, it was just so fucking like misleading. Like they were all like, it takes this much water to produce a t-shirt. This much water leaks from pipes in New York City. And like somebody in the comments was actually like, like I totally agree with you on some aspects, but your facts don't really make sense and like all this stuff.
Well, what was really funny was I thought about the articles. They're like, oh, well, Cowspiracy says it takes 600 gallons to make a pound of beef. Our calculations show it's only like 500 gallons.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm like, that makes a fucking difference.
Totally. Well, and then they were like comparing these things like this much water leaks from New York City, and they were like, oh yeah, that is a lot of water. But if you think about if each person in New York City eats a pound of beef a week, that is way more, They were comparing how much water in 1 pound of beef compared to how much water leaks from New York City. Where like people eat beef a lot more than water leaks, you know what I mean? It's like
yeah, their article to me screamed, yeah, you shouldn't eat my own product.
Oh, totally. Yeah. And then they were like, the person that wrote the article was just like, oh, I haven't even seen the movie. And you're like, of course not. Like, what? Like, and you're the authority to write an article about it because you saw the trailer. Good job.
But I mean, how do you think, animal rights activists can bridge the gap to environmental activists? Because over the years that I've been an activist, it has just been a nightmare. Like, no environmental activists, especially 10 years ago, 15 years ago, took the animal rights issue seriously. Like, you would pose the question of the environmental things, there's like, well, I think there's other things we need to focus on, or they just totally sidestep the issue.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't really know what the best way to do that is, but I think maybe just talking to people. I don't know. Like, I should have stopped the other day, but I was like, walking down the street and I saw a Greenpeace activist, and she must have been on her lunch break or something. She was wearing a shirt that said "Defend the Amazon," but then she was eating a cheeseburger, and I just really wanted to like stop and be like, because they stop me all the time, and I just wanted to kind of like sit down and be like, hey, so let's talk about this Amazon thing, I just wanted to know where the logic was, like you're talking about defending the Amazon, but then like the number one reason for like deforestation in the Amazon is like making room for cattle production. It's like it's like not even like debatable. It's a fact. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not like we're debating like any kind of like ideas here. We're just talking about the facts. You're out defending the Amazon. Let's talk about like easy things you can do, which is one easy thing that everybody can do is just change the way they eat. There's a lot of really hard things that we need to do too, but like one easy thing everyone can do is just don't support those industries financially.
What's really funny to me is it reminded me of a story. So my wife is the most passive vegan you'll ever meet. Like, she's not confrontational. She doesn't like, she doesn't like protests just because of how confrontational they are, right?
Yeah.
And she got stopped one time by someone like Save Our Rainforest.
Yeah.
She just goes, well, are you vegan? And they're like, no. She's like, then how the fuck can I take you seriously? And then chewed them out for like 10, 15 minutes.
That's awesome.
And I'm just like, you're the most like passive person in the world. She's like, it just fucking irritates me. Like, how can I listen to an environmentalist that's not vegan?
Yeah, that's funny. That reminds me of a story. I was out doing some activism on the Warp Tour once and like passing out information, and then this guy stopped me. He was like, so what are you trying to do? Get people to stop eating burgers? And I was like, well, I guess, yeah. and then he was like, why aren't you out here trying to do something important like fucking saving the rainforest or something? And I was like, well, I totally turned it around on him. I was like, and then he just like shut up. It was kind of funny. And then his daughter like was with him. Like, it was like a guy taking his daughter to the Warp Tour or something, and like she was just like, I'll sign this or whatever. So she was like, Dad, you're such a jerk. So she took it for me. It was cool.
That reminds me of my interaction with Greenpeace as well.
We'll share your story.
We were just at Sundance, and they stopped me and my wife, and they're like, we just need money. We want you to donate. And I'm like, I honestly do things more on a grassroots level. And they're like, oh yeah, what are you involved in? Like trying to be confrontational. I'm like, well, animal activism. Are you vegan by chance? Well, it got into a heated conversation at that point, but they finally ended up agreeing with me.
Nice. There you go. See, I think that's important, though. I think we just need to like have conversations. I'm always a big proponent of conversations. I think as like awkward as they can be sometimes, like it's worth having, and it makes you explore your own ideas. And like I don't know. I think that's one thing about like the store too, is just being here, and people like I think people just say things sometimes here that aren't vegan, like maybe they just came in and expect me to agree with them, just because like maybe because they think I'm just an employee at some store and I'm not going to argue with them or something. But they'll say things like, oh, well, I only eat humane eggs, and then I'll be like, well, and then like and I'm not a dick about it. I'll just be like, hey, so yeah, well, I just don't believe that there are humane eggs, and this is why. And I'll go in to it a little bit. And like sometimes most of the time people are receptive to hearing it because it's information they haven't heard. And I think that that's like really important, is putting yourself in a place where you can at least, some people aren't going to have conversations with you. They're just going to like want to argue and whatever. Like I'll do that too. But I think that like having those like conversations on a regular basis, which is one thing that I really love about like having this store, and like, people come in here and they challenge us, you know what I mean? And they like really try to like ask why we're doing this, why we won't turn into a vegetarian store with eggs, like quote unquote humane eggs and whatever. And, and we'll tell them why. And we don't hide it. Like, we don't be like, oh, well, like we try to not sidestep the issue. We try to like encourage everyone, like our, the couple folks that work here, we try to encourage them to like, not be scared to have those conversations. Like they're not going to get in trouble if they get an argument with a customer or something. So yeah.
What's like the worst confrontation you've had with a customer so far with like the vegan issue?
The only time that I ever think that it got like really negative was this guy. He was vegan actually, and he was visiting Denver, and he was on a work trip and like invited two of his non-vegan friends with him. And this woman that was with him, she tried to, she basically just tried to start an argument with me about like some of the literature that we had out and how this isn't like everyday practices. This doesn't really happen, et cetera, et cetera. And I was like, no, it really does. And like, and then she just really started like arguing and being like really kind of like just really offended that I would be honest with her, I guess. And it was really awkward because like her vegan friend, he was a really nice guy, and like he came in like the day before, and like we had a really good conversation, and like, and I think that he was just kind of like standing there awkwardly, and it was just kind of like a really awkward situation in general. But for the most part, like she got mad and stormed out, and that was the only time I've ever really had a super negative experience, and it really wasn't even that bad. I was just like, and I told like the guy, I was like, I'm sorry that I pissed off your friend or whatever. But he was like, oh no, it's fine. Like we were just coworkers or something like that. He was like, I'm kind of glad I'm glad you were honest and all this stuff. So, he was really cool. So,
well,
yeah,
it's great that you could, because, I have coworkers like that, and you can't get that confrontational with them, especially in the workplace.
Yeah. I had that problem when I worked at Whole Foods, where like a lot of times I would want to like start these arguments with my coworkers, but then I would be like, well, we're at work right now and I can't really do it. So
I have just the opposite problem. I have them trying to start it with me all the time, where they'll be like, oh, I eat only humane meat, blah, blah, blah. This should be okay for you to eat. I'm like, it's not okay for me to eat. They're like, well, why not? I'm like, do you really want to get into it?
Yeah. I mean, any of the arguments that started when I worked there were usually started by other people.
Yeah.
And that's usually what I feel like the case is like, usually like I might mention something like, oh, we got this vegan thing, and like take the bacon grease. Like I'll be like, oh, vegan bacon grease. And they'll be like, why do you even want to eat that kind of stuff if you're a vegan? And I'm like, well, I didn't go vegan because I thought meat was gross. I went vegan because I didn't want to hurt animals. And if I can have those same flavors and tastes and not kill anything, then I feel like that's a stronger argument. And, I get in those conversations all the time. But for the most part, it's been like, yeah.
Yeah, I was just going to say, the concept that we didn't go, like, I'm not a health food vegan either. Like, I'm not a health vegan. I didn't stop eating animals because of flavor. And whenever I explain that to people, it's a concept that's really almost foreign to them. Like, they just think like, oh, you don't like the flavor of this or something else. When you're like, no, there's a real ethical issue behind what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. That's exactly where I am too. And like I said, I always feel like it strengthens our argument. I'm like, if we can have like a Gardein burger on the grill, like dripping some kind of like magical vegan greasiness and like and it tastes amazing, you know what I mean? Like I feel like if I can have that and I didn't have to like go slit a cow's throat then or pay somebody else to do that, then like why would anyone want to choose the one where you have to kill the animal? You know what I mean? Like just eat this delicious like Gardein patty or something, you know what I mean? It's like it's just like to me it's just more logically sound, I guess.
What do you feel about like lab grown meat?
I don't know. Like, I think it's kind of gnarly in a way, but then at the same time, if it like saves animals' lives but I don't know. I'm like, where are they getting the cells from and stuff like that? Do you still have to use animals in like the tests or something? Like, I don't really know. I haven't like looked into it that much. I mean, I guess it's a better alternative, especially environmentally, than like, farming cows is. And like, mostly what I'm really against is like the farming of animals and like the using them as commodities and like kind of using their bodies like they're just property. And I guess on that end, like it's a better choice. I don't know if I'd eat it though. I'm not into it. But I'm happy with like the Beyond Meat and like my Vegan-A's and like that kind of stuff.
What about that new mayonnaise that just came out? Have you tried
mayo?
that?
Yeah, I have. I think it's really good.
Yeah.
And I think it's cool that they're a vegan company too. I mean, even like Follow Your Heart, who makes Vegan-A's, isn't an all vegan company. So,
yeah.
So I guess like I feel like it's cool that they're doing what they're doing. Some of the things like just like the money behind it and like all that kind of stuff like gets me a little worried sometimes. Like I don't really know. Like it just seems, I don't know, it's just like one of those things where it's like the vegan side of me like really loves it, but then this other side of me is kind of like, okay, how are they going to run this company, and like how are they going to treat their workers and like I don't know, all this kind of stuff. So
I was super worried it was going to be like mayonnaise.
Oh yeah, I guess when it comes to actual product, I think it's delicious. Like I think it holds together really well. It's really creamy. It tastes good.
It's a little more tangy, I think. Like than Veganize is really sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
And I wonder if it's a difference between like mayo and Miracle Whip. I don't know. I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't know either.
But yeah, I think that the thing I like about it is that it doesn't separate after like a few weeks or anything. Like it always like holds together really well. And plus, the cool thing I like about it is like since they are doing it on such a big scale, I love that they're in like Costco and they're in every like normal grocery store.
They're in the dollar store now.
They're in dollar stores.
Yeah, they're in like Dollar General, and like I think that's really important too. Is like we have to like think about like um, kind of just like, like lower income folks and stuff like that, and just kind of like making it really accessible so everybody can eat, and like, and I love that they're going that direction, like making it really cheap and like making it accessible for people, and kind of like, maybe not necessarily thinking of the target demographic that most vegans like, or vegan companies think of, like most new vegan products, they're going for like the Whole Foods crowd. They're charging like, like a lot of stuff that's like vegan is like on a small scale, and like they have to charge a lot more for it. And it's really cool for like people that can afford it and stuff like that. But I think that I love that Hamden Creek is kind of going for making it really affordable and really accessible for people.
I know Beyond Meat is also not targeting them. They're like unabashed about not targeting vegans.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think that's really important, is just kind of like targeting people that are maybe at least interested, or like, and if you can make it the more affordable version. Like I was just at like a Safeway, and like, and I saw the Just Mayo on the shelf, and like I think it was like one of the cheaper ones, if not the cheapest mayo on the, you know what I mean? And I was like, that's amazing, because like that's what needs to happen, and like.
So you said they're in Costco.
Yeah, they're in Costco.
Are they like a huge container?
Yeah, it's like giant containers for $5 or something. It's
Jesus
crazy.
Fuck! I gotta go to Costco.
I know. And have you heard this thing that like I guess Costco pays their average hourly employee like $20 an hour?
Oh no. From an employee standpoint for a corporation, Costco's on the better end of things.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, they're actually pretty decent. They start out their part-time employees with full-time benefits too.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I heard too that like the CEO was trying to do a little bit more too, though, but like the shareholders weren't very happy about it, and like he got in a lot of trouble because he was trying to do more like things to make like wages more equitable. But that's kind of sucks, but it's kind of interesting that the CEO is like trying to do that.
Yeah, they're one of the companies that I've always wondered what will happen once the current CEO leaves, because it is him driving everything, and it's very clear that it is just this one person's vision.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know. It's scary.
Yeah, it really is, because imagine how much more they could increase their profits by just tweaking that a little bit.
Oh, totally. I know. Yeah. I don't know, but it's cool for now. Go get some Just Mayo.
Yeah. So
the only bad thing is about like for little stores like us, we can only get like the little guys, and like that we charge like more than like, we have to like, and we have really small markups, and like we don't have the $5 giant containers, and I wish that we did.
That's a bummer.
Yeah, so it's kind of one of those things. Just being like a small store, sometimes you don't get the fun like kind of discounts for buying huge amounts of stuff.
But I haven't seen the sriracha ones, or would they have a wasabi or something or two? I can't remember what kinds they have.
I haven't seen the only ones I've seen in stores so far are the regular one, and then the Chipotle.
Okay.
They have the squeeze bottles,
and
they have the jars.
Okay, I've only ever seen the jars.
Yeah, because they only had them at the dollar store here, and
that I've seen,
and they're just the tiny jars. So
no, Whole Foods just started carrying them too. I know that.
Yeah, so which is actually funny too is like the ones that us and Whole Foods carry are like I think the difference is like the ones at Costco and stuff like that and at the dollar store are all shelf stable, and then the ones that us and Whole Foods have are refrigerated because they have different ingredients.
Oh, really?
Weird.
Yeah, and I think it's because like Whole Foods like has very strict rules on like what kind of preservatives people can use, and so I think that they had to make one specifically for Whole Foods that had none of the ingredients that they banned. So I think that's the difference, and I think that's why the one that we carry and the one that Whole Foods carries is a little bit more expensive.
Okay, that would make sense.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, totally. Which is cool if you're trying to avoid preservatives. We have the one that with less preservatives. Or whatever,
oh yeah, totally.
Yeah.
But I'm always one, to support a vegan business no matter what.
Oh, totally. I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, I bought some Just Mayo when I was at Safeway on my road trip recently because I was like, yeah, they have Just Mayo, and they had Daya in the real cheese section at Safeway.
Wow.
And I was like, or not the real cheese, but the cow cheese. So they had Daya in there, and I was like, cool. So I bought some Daya, and I bought some just mayo, and because I was on a road trip anyway, so I was like, oh, we can make some sandwiches. So
Okay, here's another odd question for you. Jordan knows more about this than I do, but there's a group of people making cheese from human genomes. Is that right?
Yeah,
oh
the real vegan cheese.
yes,
Would you carry that?
I don't know. I have to look more into it. Is it that thing they had like a Kickstarter recently or Indiegogo?
Indiegogo.
So they were making it from human genomes, they said?
They're making it from whatever they want. Right now they're doing human, bovine, and narwhal because they can.
So
Interesting.
how is the bovine and narwhal vegan? This is what I don't get.
It's just I think they're taking a yeast and changing they're genetically modifying it to make it into the same sequence as.
So they're not starting with like a narwhal sequence.
No, they're starting with yeast and changing it to mimic those sequences.
I see. Yeah, that's what I understood, is that it was a yeast base, not like a in vitro thing or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we'd probably carry that. I mean, if it's vegan and like it's really good and like, I think that the idea was that it is a yeast and that they start with. I don't know as much about it. I only looked at it like one time, like last week or something, but I was interested, and I'm definitely going to contact them. I mean, we're like down to carry anything that's innovative like that. I don't know. And a lot of the new vegan cheeses, but at the same side is like, I really love the cashew cheeses, probably more than I was ever into like actual cheese before I was vegan. So,
oh yeah, I love like hard cheese and cheese spreads and stuff like that. Those are really good.
I'd be interested to see if like they make a yeast cheese that like acts like a meltable like mozzarella or something like that.
Well, I think that's the basic idea is that they create the casein and everything so that it's all meltable. It'll be pretty much cheese without the torture and without the cholesterol and everything else.
I guess I'm old because it just weirds me the fuck out.
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes like I wonder about like all this like science experiment foods, and then like the natural foods part of me. But then on the other hand, I'm like, well, if it's good, I'll probably eat it.
I go to the aspect, well, is that really sustainable for a general public? Like, do you have to be in a certain economic class to afford it? And, that whole thing.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't know. It's interesting.
So,
well, they do have a bioreactor so that they will be able to.
What the fuck is a bioreactor?
I'm not sure, but I know, but I know that it helps the process be easier.
I just wonder if it'll be more affordable because a lot of the cashew cheeses and stuff are crazy expensive.
Mm-hmm. I'm still a fan of homemade nutritional yeast cheeses, like the.
Oh, me too. Oh yeah, definitely.
I mean, I know they don't really mimic a real cheese, but maybe it's just because I ate it for so long because there were so many disgusting cheeses forever.
Yeah, I love that. I love that homemade like cheese sauces and stuff like that. I'd actually like probably like for the most part usually go that direction.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I like to eat some of the Punk Rock Labs, like cashew cheese or something like that, or like. And I actually really like tease cheese a lot.
Yeah, tease is good.
Yeah, tease is good.
Especially their mozzarella. That stuff's what's up.
Like honestly, one of my favorite ghetto meals to do is just noodles with a vegan margarine and nutritional yeast.
Yeah.
It's like the best sauce. It's almost like a weird Alfredo sauce.
Yeah. I've never actually done that specific combination, but it sounds delicious. I'd eat that.
It's pretty damn good. Maybe throw in a little bit of milk of your choice,
Yeah.
I'd really like to try more cheeses, so we don't really have a large
we don't have a huge
variety
selection here. Yeah.
We got your Daya, we got your Follow Your Heart, which is awesome and way more than some people have, but we don't have like the what is it, Dr. Cow, or I don't know what it's called. The
Dr. Cow.
Is it Dr. Cow?
Yeah, we don't have that one, but I have had that before. It's good.
Or any of the others for that matter.
Yeah.
Like,
my favorite as far as those go is the Punk Rock Labs.
Yeah, I've never even heard of that one.
Yeah, it's really good. It's just like a raw cashew cheese. It's cultured and aged, and
I've heard a lot about it. I've never tried it.
Yeah, The people that run the company too are just really, really sweet people. Like they were in Denver recently and got to hang out with them, and yeah, I don't know. I just like that company a lot. I think they're doing it right. Plus, they're easy to order from. They have like, as far as the store goes, it's nice whenever people are easy to order from, and like we can have standing orders, and like shipping prices don't get all scary and really crazy expensive sometimes.
So,
I was just gonna
sorry.
say I saw that people were starting to make a blue vegan cheese. That's something that I've never been into. Like that just doesn't look. It's blue. It's moldy. I don't know.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't had it, but some people are into that kind of thing. I don't know. I wasn't into that before I was vegan. So
Yeah.
what fascinates me about the whole vegan cheese like idea is that I was never into cheese before I was vegan.
Yeah.
But I went vegan like pre-teen almost. So
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I was never into like I went vegan when I was like 23, but I was never into like any kind of like fancy cheeses or doing cheese plates or anything, but like now I'm all about it. Now I'm all like, let's have a vegan cheese plate tonight and some grapes and stuff. I don't know. I don't know.
that
It's
does
crazy.
sound delicious.
Yeah, there's some good stuff. There's some good stuff now.
So if there was somebody like in another like city that wants to open up a vegan, food store, would you be open to, questions and concerns?
Oh, definitely. I've done it numerous times already. When
Mhm.
people are trying to start stores, like I'm always down to talk to people. Like when we were starting, the people over at Food Fight in Portland, they were like so helpful for us. Like we were doing pop-up shops and they were like helping us out, getting us in contact with like some of their vendors and stuff like that, and just kind of giving us like their spreadsheets on stuff that they order. And yeah, I mean, I think it's we're like a tight-knit community of the vegan grocery stores. Like we all like talk to each other and keep in touch and look at each other's Instagrams and share where we get new products from, like all that stuff. So it feels really like you're part of a little community because there's not a lot of us vegan shops, and most of the people that run them are like, I haven't met a couple of them, so I can't judge the ones I haven't met, but all the ones that I've talked to like are just, we're all like friends and everybody's really cool. So
Is it kind of like the whole rising tide, raises all ships mentality?
yeah, I think so. Like everybody's down to help each other, like there's Rabbit Food Grocery in Austin. Like she hasn't opened a storefront yet, but we're always like, talking to her about it and like encouraging her to do it and like all that kind of stuff. Like we are, it's mostly like us and Food Fight, but we're like all about other people starting stores. Actually, there's another vegan store opening in Denver. They're a totally different idea than us, but they're trying to open up like a zero packaging store.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's going to be like all bulk and produce, I guess, and a juice bar. And like I just connected with them and the other day and like posted on their like Facebook wall and was like, hey, we're rooting for you, all this stuff. And we posted about their Indiegogo that they have going on right now, and like we're all about supporting them doing their thing because it's another place that we can shop because we don't have tons of produce, we don't have tons of bulk stuff. So like I'm all about like being able to like totally get away from going to other grocery stores for certain things and like and go to another vegan shop, and that is focusing on the things that we lack. So
Yeah.
Pretty awesome.
One of my dreams has always been to have a produce stand, not necessarily like alternative products, but just straight up lettuce and carrots and onions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be really rad.
You don't see that anymore, like especially in like most. Yeah.
Totally. You pretty much only see them maybe in like San Francisco and like New York, and that's it.
Yeah. It's always been a dream of mine.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
It's never left more than saying, this is a dream.
I know, right? Hey,
Like-
you never know. That's
No, you did
fun.
say if you wanted to contribute like 100,000 to it, then it'd help.
Yeah. I could definitely get it going with $100,000.
Yeah, I think that'd be pretty easy to do.
Yeah, I don't think that'd be a problem.
No, not at all.
So if anyone has $100,000,
yeah, give it to the produce stand. They need it.
they need it. Well, yeah, this has been a lot of fun. If people want to get in contact with you, follow you, visit you at your store, how can they do that?
Go to noochveganmarket.com. Follow us on Instagram at Nooch Vegan Market. and Twitter we're just Nooch Vegan.
Sweet.
But don't look up Nooch Vegan on Instagram because there's a fake Instagram account that says they're a Denver vegan grocery store with our logo, and that's not us.
What's that all about? Hold on.
I don't know. Yeah, I know. I just opened up a can of worms there. But yeah, there's like a fake Instagram account, I guess, like called Nooch Vegan. That's like, we're a vegan grocery store in Denver. They only have like 10 followers, and ours has like 2,500 or something like that. So whichever one has the more followers is the real one.
How, like, do they try to do anything?
They've posted a few things, but they haven't posted in like a month now. So I don't know what's going on.
That
But
is so weird.
Sent them a message. I was like, so why would you take the time to like make a fake account for our page? I never got a response or anything, so I don't know. We'll see.
That is hilarious. I'm really sorry. I wish
Yeah.
we had fake accounts for us. That
No,
just...
right? This is the first time. I was like, oh, now we're famous enough to have a fake account. Sweet.
Awesome.
Now we have to change it to Nooch Vegan Official.
You can get one of those verified little marks next to you too.
Oh yeah, how do I do that? I'm gonna hit up Instagram. Be like, hey,
You should.
let me know how to do that.
Anyways, well, we end every episode saying fuck, shit, damn. Would you mind saying it for us this week?
Yeah, let's do it.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm saying it?
Yeah.
All right. Fuck, shit, damn.
Awesome. Thanks
Thank you
much.
so much.
Thanks. Have a good
Okay,
one.
it's been a lot of fun.
Hey, see it.
Okay, bye.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
This week you heard,
Chill Out Lounge V3 by Chinchillas.
and right now you're listening to,
Carnivores Unite by Blockhead.
and as always,
El Comandantes.
which side are you on? Right now, rate and review us. Especially if you haven't already on and sponsored an episode.
I know that we say it a lot, but it really helps us out, and it helps
Drive traffic
exactly, and
to the show.
it gets more attention for us, so we could provide better content.
Yeah, basically that's it. So go rate and review us on iTunes, and that'd be sweet.
Also, if we're not already friends on social media, totally connect with us on all of our social media accounts. Just go to whichsidepodcast.com, click on social, and you can be our friend.
Yeah.
We post a lot of things that we don't talk about on the show, so totally check that out.
And we're real people behind those accounts, so you can actually talk to us. You know, it's not just we're out there to post shit. We're out there to be part of the community. So come join our community, and we'll have fun.
Fuck shit, damn.
Which Side is produced by the Which Side Media Collective.